White House's fraud crackdown is in full swing, and Minnesota's childcare assistance program is the latest target. A federal review reportedly found the state wasn't properly verifying attendance records before paying providers. Imagine that, even ignoring fraud tips that would have strengthened oversight of taxpayer dollars. And with just 4 investigators monitoring fraud statewide, no meaningful investigations were underway to look for any suspicious activity. Taylor, there's only one known state worse than Minnesota. It's California, which is why I'm going to come to you first. New York could be up there. I'm hearing they could be next. So you can weigh in on this. Can I just say something? This is like a bigger than fraud question.
Yeah.
Why does Minnesota need to have a child care agency? Minnesota Department of Children, Youth, and Families. How about no on those departments?
Yeah, great. Even more shocking to me, Brian, is they only had 4 fraud investigators. These are the big bureaucrats that love big government. I thought they would have had 1 million of these people, big government agencies.
They will now,
when
probably.
It comes to
They'll
fraud,
hire 100 of them to do nothing.
To do nothing. You guys know my take on this. The more we spend on these, what did you call it? The child care government agency?
Yes, the Department of Children, Youth, and Families, none of which is the government's business.
Correct. The more we have that, the more that my costs go up because my taxpayer money has been funneled into this agency that I'm assuming is, well, I don't want to call them fraud if it hasn't been proven. Allegedly, potentially mismanaging money, let's say that, innocent until proven guilty. But that means the cost for all of us goes up because that money has been siphoned elsewhere. You know what I kind of like about this, Brian? Let's make this like school choice, where you have the voucher that follows you. Can I make daycare? Can I have a voucher for daycare and I will pick and choose where I want to go with my child, like we can do with school choice? Put it back in the hands of the parent.
I mean, I like parents better than bureaucrats. Speaking of which, Mike, the person who runs the department that I would like to get rid of, because I don't think it's the government's business, her name is Tiki Brown. And she has been in charge of this department since it was created in 2024. It was other things before that. She has not lost her job. Nobody who has oversight responsibility seems to ever lose their job in all of this. I will not believe any of what's happening on fraud accountability until massive amounts of people in these government agencies lose their jobs.
Look, with AI and all the tools that are out there, to conduct forensic audits in very short periods of time is easy, right? We should be able to know with the high degree of certainty of where every single dollar has gone from the state to these agencies, right? It's not that hard to get the bank records, right, to follow the money from the state into these agencies. And if once you're taking the government's money, you can't exactly say, no, you can't look at my books and records, right? So the fraud hasn't been found.
But that's what they do. Like, they shut the door when people show up to want to see if any kids go to the Leering Center, right? Or Keith Ellison, the AG, meets with, a bunch of people, and they say, well, people are on our back because they think we're wasting money. He says, don't worry about it. I mean, like that, they do actually try to keep you from looking at the books.
So like, I come from an Irish background. And I think we are the first ones to pioneer, like taking a skim off the government, like a Tammany Hall, not too far from here. And so that's what's happening, right? If they haven't found the fraud and no one's getting fired, like these people are in on it, right? It's very clear to everyone who's watching. And I think the Trump administration could make this one of their #1 issues for the midterms, and it would pave the way for them. And because I think the dollar amounts are staggering. And if you rewind the clock just a little over a year ago when DOJ was coming out with all these numbers, like the approval rating for Republicans was skyrocketing. And this should be priority #1 on the domestic agenda, is stamping out this fraud. An announcement came across 2 hours ago in the New York Post that Dr. Oz is going to do an investigation into New York. But this is not opaque accounting. It's not hard for the government to figure it out. It's not hard. Like, how many children are there? Give me the last 4 digits of their social security number. Let's see how much money you were paid. Okay, the money's not there. The funnel gets kicked. You shut off the spigot. You're going to jail or give us our money back.
It sounds great, but the stonewalling, Jackie, is epic. I mean, the stonewalling we've seen in Minnesota, We're getting in California now. I mean, don't get started on New York. It'll probably be 10 times worse.
Well, they have to push. They have to push. And the same way you're talking about firing certain people who've been irresponsible, you have to lock these people up legally and create a situation where people understand. You commit this kind of fraud, taxpayer fraud, you take taxpayer dollars and don't use them for what you're supposed to, but instead you're buying personal homes and cars, and you are going to jail. And a bunch of people have to start going to jail for other people to realize that we mean business about this. That is the only way.
I don't love to see anybody go to jail.
I do, if you stole like that.
But let me finish. I know you guys love that. But the second part of my sentence was, but I didn't, there was a dot in that sentence.
Oh, okay.
And the second part of that sentence was, it has to happen for the good of taxpayers when people are ripping taxpayers off. Dagan.
We have gone astray from first principles. We have lost sight of the rule that individual freedom and ingenuity are at the very core of everything that we've accomplished. Government's first duty is to protect the people, not run their lives. Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan said that actually in front of a union, the National Conference of the Building and Construction Trades, AFL-CIO. And I think that what's going on in Iran, it's to protect the nation, but not do everything else for this country.
Thank you.
And if the Republicans, as much as I bitch about the debt and the spending, it's the conservatives who are more at fault than the liberals. I expect the liberals to be profligate, but not the conservatives, because those are not our foundational principles. Not as individuals, the Republicans, not foundational principles of that party, or they shouldn't be. So when we do stories about this fraud and this theft, because Medicaid, that's why every dollar that these crooks in Minnesota and elsewhere spend, they funnel money off the federal government. Cut it off. Why is it so hard for these politicians to cut off these states, these bureaucrats, and these programs? It is not about the children. You know what? The children have parents.
Thank you. The Department of Children, Youth, and Families should be run by mom and dad. That's what I say. Still to come.